Well, it's been an action-packed season, and now the P1 SuperStock Roadshow has rocked up in Dorset. Welcome to Weymouth for the final round of the 2012 P1 SuperStock Championship. And what better place to come than this London 2012 host venue? And you may not have realised, but in the London Games of 1908, powerboating was actually included. Well, it's been an unprecedented year for sport in the UK and another fantastic season for the P1 SuperStocks. Time then now to catch up with Shelley.
Toughest round of the season. It was the big endurance race. Pertemps did brilliantly. They recovered after a real nasty in Eastbourne and took their first win of the season. So the 250 table looks like this, and we're going into the final 4 races now. Pickford's in first place on 97 points, Typhoon Racing on 72 points, so we're still quite close and there's all to play for. In the 150 class, Team Purple have been dominant throughout the season, but in cows it all went wrong. They lost their engine cowling, which meant they were disqualified completely. Rose Laws in Team 73 did a fantastic job. She's good in the endurance races and she took her first win of the season. So in the 150 table, they are even closer. McDonald Mermaid, Team 73, so that's really close and they've got everything to play for. Sarah's down in the pits to see what they're actually doing for this final shakedown.
We're down here in the dry pits this morning while the team's making their final preparations for today's races. Now, one team that will be hoping for a good result today is Cow's winner, Pertemps. John?
It looks like it's going to be very flat out there. Doesn't suit us really, but we're going to give it our best go. At least we've got pole position, having won at Cows.
The checkered flag is out to greet John Wilson for his first win in this series, plus a victory for birthday boy Nigel Hindmarsh.
We've been playing with, making sure that central gravities are all the same. There was a few checks done yesterday to make sure that all the boats are sitting on the slings in the same position. So we're as close as we can be. Our job then is just to make sure that we can get the trim absolutely nailed, because it's just so critical.
Still got B, still got B, still got B. Whoa!
Dean, going into Weymouth, leading the championship. What are your thoughts on today?
Yeah, as everyone can see out there today, it's like a mill pond, but it's lovely weather down here in Weymouth, and just going to go out there and just see what we can do.
And what about you, Dean?
I'd be glad to get back out in the boat really, since I missed Cows due to my back injury. It'd be nice to get back out there really.
Andy, what are your thoughts on this weekend?
Well, at the moment, obviously, the sun's shining, the water's flat, so it's going to be quite interesting. Obviously, points are very, very close, so currently in second, so we've just got to make sure we maintain our position. I think Dean's will be very hard to catch unless he has a problem, so I think everyone else is battling for the other top 2 places on the podium.
And so Miles is driving today, you're navigating. Will you rather be driving, Alan?
Absolutely, you always rather to drive, but this weekend, yeah, it's Miles' turn, so he'll be out there, so I'll make sure I give him as much information as possible to make sure we keep as many people behind us as we can.
So what do we reckon, Shelley? Blue skies, flat water, it's perfect, isn't it?
Perfect race conditions. I'm really quite jealous I'm not out there today myself. It's going to be very fast and very flat today. The course is good, long straights. So it's going to be real driver-navigator skill today.
Good stuff, looking forward to it. Let's hand over now then to Dave Moore for race commentary.
The boats making their way out to the course which they'll be competing on today. 2 races for the crews. Pickfords have been unbeatable on the short circuits this season, but Pertemps did win last time out, but that was the long distance run from Cows to Poole and back again. Plenty of sunshine then, as we wait for the green flag to signal the start of this race.
Green.
And green it is indeed. Miles Jennings in control of the Typhoon craft this time, swapping seats with partner Andy Wilby. A dozen powerboats suddenly bursting across the sea. P1 Panthers on one side, P1 50s on the other. This on board with Dean Stoneman, who has Dean Paling alongside him once again. Paling missed the last round at the Isle of Wight, and it's business as usual.
Clear to come over. Come off at him.
That was the crew in second place, Ian Brusby and Will Nurse in air docks, and Typhoon making a dive inside to go for third. Pertemps may just get the better drive out of the turn. Pickford's with what looks a fairly smooth surface ahead of them. This is Stuart and Sarah Curitan of Team Purple. They got Black Magic alongside them in the P150 class. It looked as if one of the Panthers may have hit trouble there. We'll have to wait and see as we concentrate on this fight at the front. Team 73 in third, behind Black Magic. McDonald Mermaid in fourth. Pickford's lead it. Edox second.
Right alongside you on your left. Don't come over, hold it there.
Brusby and Nurse in Edox, concerned about the threat being posed by Pertemps, and you can see it there with some justification, it would seem. John Wilson and Nigel Hindmarsh sweep past them in spectacular fashion to move into second place.
Did you run on that boy? No, it was only on the start run. Yeah.
So Pertemps really flying and drifting out to the right, going around the orange marker. Meanwhile, Edox cut inside along with Typhoon and aren't that far behind in fourth, and it looks like Edox are second. And indeed they are. Pertemps keeps it tight at the turn, but they're just under a boat's length behind, and it's game on for second place. The best start to a race this season for Brusby and Nurse as we look at Wilson and Hindmarsh. We're back with P150 and Team Curitan, otherwise known as Team Purple, looking to break away in their class. The P150 Championship so open coming into this final round. This is Team 73, winners last time out. Typhoon still performing strongly with Jennings at the controls. They're in fourth place and they've got a great view of the battle for second ahead of them. Pertemps providing the pictures, inch perfect from John Wilson as he negotiates the turn. Champions in 2011, well, that was John Wilson, Neil Scarborough. His place now taken by Nigel Hindmarsh.
That's lovely.
Positive noises out of Edox from Will Nurse. Two race leaders, two classes. Pickford's coming up to pass Team Purple, and we're looking at two very happy crews at the present as they head for the checkered flag. Black Magic in second place in P150. So Pickford's move a step closer to the title as they get back to their winning ways, and Edox with their best result of the campaign ahead of Pertemps in third place. Delight for Stuart Curitan and wife Sarah, and this is why victory ahead of Black Magic with Team 73 third and title rivals McDonald Mermaid finishing in fourth position.
How about that, Shelley? Thank you. Phenomenal. What a great race. And now I've had a go for myself, and I can tell you it's phenomenal. That is exactly why these guys want to do that all weekend. It's brilliant. But with 3 more races to go and all the aquacross action to fit in, it's high time we hand back to Dave Moore for race commentary.
Heat 2 and conditions very similar to earlier in the day. P150 craft at the top of the picture as Nigel Hindmarsh in Pertemps looks for the green flag, and John Wilson puts the hammer down, and they're on their way. Will anyone be able to stop the runaway train that was Pickford's in race 1? Pertemps know that nothing less than victory will do, but Pickford's are away smartish once again. So too Edox, and they're practically side by side.
All right, thanks. About a third up our side.
Typhoon in the hands once again of Miles Jennings in fourth, but there's nothing between Edox and Pickford out front. The 48 craft has the inside advantage into the buoy. Dean Stoneman and Dean Paling were hoped to emerge in first place, but Ian Brusby and Will Nurse holding their nerve. The turn coming up ahead, and Edox still holding their line. while Potemps in third crosses their wake in a bid to take a tight line at the turn. This could be a smart move by John Wilson and Nigel Hindmarsh. Typhoon being tossed around as they negotiate their way around across the wake of the lead trio. And Edox have lost out. They went too wide at the turn, but the wily old campaigner that's John Wilson knew exactly what he was doing, gambled that the gap would open, and the risk has paid off. And meanwhile, the P150 guys and gals are at the turn, and it's the same again. Team Purple, Black Magic, Team 73 and McDonnell Mermaid in that order, just as they were in Heat 1.
IFX on our fourth quarter, about 3 boat legs behind.
Well, Edox have moved inside of Potemps. This is the battle for second we're looking at now. And we're on board with Nick Williams and Aaron Emmett on IFX. Oval Insurance look to have an issue. That'll need dealing with. Potemps going to try and keep it tight once again around the turn and reclaim second place from Edox. Looks to be a plan that's working. What a terrific scrap this is going to be. Pickford's maybe pulling away at the front, but these two crews enjoying this tussle immensely. And talking of Pickfords, are edging ever closer to the P1 SuperStock Championship title. And meanwhile, McDonnell Mermaid are still trailing Team 73. They're some way off the two crafts up front. Let's go back to that fight for second. Potemps now ahead of Edox, but for how long? They're tossing the position between themselves like that proverbial hot potato. And so Dean Stoneman and Dean Paling back to their old ways. Potemps holding off the threat of Edox, but they have the inside line and their title defence is evaporating though, like the wake they're leaving behind them. They've still got an outside chance of the championship, but it is disappearing now in the waves around Weymouth. Team Purple knew they needed victories this weekend. They're on course for their second right now. Black Magic are proving that their earlier second place finish was no fluke, and that's exactly where they are again. May look flat across the surface, but it's still a bit choppy out there, especially across the wake of the boats you're following. Look at that. Pickford's coming up on the less powerful P150 craft. They've won every race this season, the exception being the Pool Cows race last time out. Typhoon continue to close on Edox, looking to improve on their fourth place finish from earlier today. Potemps look to have second place sewn up following their cracking duel with Edox. And as we ride once more with Team Purple, Stuart and Sarah Curitan, not too far to go for them, and their second win of the day, the checkered flag, is out. And that's another victory for the husband and wife team. And here's Pickford's to chalk up their second win of the day. And behind Potemps, just edging out Edox for second place, with Typhoon having to settle for fourth place again. But victory for Pickfords, and they can taste that title now.
Congratulations there, convincing wins today. You made that look easy.
Yeah, we went out there, just give it everything we had really. Mainly we want to put away in the championship, and like I said earlier on, we want to be consistent and edge away in the championship, but hopefully we've done enough now to sew the title up.
Well, they have really. All they've got to do now is turn up tomorrow to ensure that. And meanwhile, Team Purple will move into pole position in P150 with that one victory, almost a mirror of the results from race 1.
Well, if all that high-powered excitement is a little bit too much for you, there's plenty of other ways to enjoy the water here in Weymouth. Join us in part 2 for the season finale of the P1 SuperStocks. Hello and welcome back to day 2 here in Weymouth, and this is it, Shelley. 5 weekends on the road, and it all comes down to today. 2 races, and by the end of play we'll know who's the champion.
Yep, and I think it could change a little bit today. Flags are flapping, a little bit of wind there. Yesterday was really flat, fast and furious. The drivers would have been trimming the boats to just get as much as they can out of them. Today, a little bit chop under there might make it a bit more exciting, so good racing.
No, good stuff, something to look forward to, and with 2 races to go today, high time we hand over to Dave Moore for race 3.
Lots to play for on the water today, and conditions not quite so perfect as we've just heard. So what's the plan for our main contenders?
we're just trying to make sure that we finish the race in a decent position. This one we're doing now is very important because if we can get a decent finish in this, I think we can secure the championship.
And it's time to put all that to the test now. There's no change in the layout for today, so that might help a little, but navigation is still crucial when you're racing powerboats. Both classes, race 1 out of 2 today. Good starting lineup as we wait for a certain green on this. Champions now, Pickford's. No, we're good to go. And we've gone. A dozen throttles full on the stops as the water looks reasonably good here. The boat's still riding very flat. John Wilson, Nigel Hindmarsh looking for second spot to end the season. There's only a couple of points in it as the Panthers and the 150s begin to separate now. You can see that quite clearly. These two did all they had to do yesterday, but they showed no signs of cruising. They're still racing for the win and the extra points to ice their celebratory cake. Looking across to Edox in a three-way battle for second spot with Taifu and Pertemps. 5 points between them, so every point counts for them as they round the first buoy, taking a really tight line. Pertemps in the thick of the battle for second. Clip that marker. That was a tight line.
Head straight.
Nigel Hindmarsh looking back to see if it's still secure, if they've cut it too close and earned a penalty. That's how tight it is. They're all right. Streaking away after a superb sweep past the first two markers. The 150s are behind them. And this end of the course really tight. The Panthers together.
Oval on our inside, it's our corner, Nick, it's our corner. Oval on our inside, please.
That's all happening behind these two in second place. That's the race leader up ahead of them. Pickford's just out of the picture on the right. Pertemps second, leading the fight for second in the points. But look how close Ian Brusby and Will Nurse in Edox are. Taifu in fourth place, and this is a huge battle developing now. Taifu really needs to get ahead to keep the lead in the battle for second place in the championship.
We'll go right a bit. See.
And you can see the choices the crews are making. Wide sweeps, full throttle, tighter turns, rougher water, off throttle but shorter distance. They can't see it as clearly as we can. Those are the conditions on the water. And this is what Shelley was talking about earlier on. Not only crossing wake, but the water is starting to steepen just a little bit. Stuart and Sarah Kiriton in Team Purple trimming it back a little as they lead the race for the 150 crown. In fact, that boat's going every bit as well as it appeared to be, skimming into a very strong lead. McDonnell Mermaid, the other half of the battle for this outstanding title, and still a lot of catching up to do. And speaking of catching up, here's Edox making a run at Pertemps. It's going to be decided when they start to make the turn. Pretty even here, but now they're going to have to make the call as they turn. Nigel Hindmarsh looking round again, updating John Wilson.
Yep, you're right. Yep, you're right.
And they very much are in the clear, and here's a clear demonstration of the power difference as they come up to lap the 150 leaders at the end of the race. As we saw before, heading round the final turn towards a checkered flag they'll love, but they don't really need. There it is. And you can see what that meant to them. They both know they're champions now. Results for the first of the day's heats, and it's second, third and fourth that matter. Pertemps drawing level on points with Edox. Taifu still just ahead of them. Team Purple very happy with that win because it's very much their title to lose now after McDonnell Mermaid finished down in fourth place to lead by 1 point on totals, but to trail by 10 after dropped scores are taken into account.
Well, we've seen an amazing season of racing in the Aquacross Championship too, with battles across all of the different classes.
With the 300 title almost his, Russ Marmon had problems at this final round and had to cruise through both heats to collect the points that made it a certainty, while Tim Batty cemented second with a win. And it was almost the same story in the second race. But there was a title to be decided in 250. Kawasaki rivals Dave Huddlestone and Matt Shipley were head-to-head. Richard Cable took a rare win in 300, while Russ Marmon cruised the race once again. Behind them, Adrian Wilson was there at the flag for the 250 win, but Matt Shipley took the title. This is how it finished at the end of the day and, of course, the end of the season as well. Russ Marmon collecting his second successive crown.
Russell, congratulations, our 2012 champion. Well done.
Thank you. Thanks very much. I think I clipped every yellow boy out there. I took the course so tight.
Let's find out now who will take the 150 SuperStock Championship as we hand over to Dave Moore for the final race of the season.
Just 1 point is the lead. Dave and Kirsty Hobson are nursing in this final showdown, but they dropped 28 against Team Purple's 17.
Go, 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 go.
A perfect lineup and a good green. Pickford already streaking clear, looking to end their season with another convincing win. This would be number 7 in a dominant season for them.
So go round this orange one, remember? Yeah. Tight, tight, tight. Head straight for the pin. Cross the wash if you can, Nick. Red flag. Cross the wash. Red flag. Red flag. Red.
The race red flag means no points and the championship positions stay as they were. As we know, Pickford had already claimed the Panther crown and the battle for second is frozen as was. In 150, Team Purple's 10-point lead over McDonald Mermaid now becomes the winning margin in that championship, but there were no celebrations today. Mike Lovell and Dan Wapples were airlifted to hospital after the Peters and May Brookspeed boat was involved with that red flag incident. But overnight, Mike Lovell succumbed to his injuries, uniting the powerboat community in grief and support for his family, friends and colleagues. They're all aware that motorsport does have a danger element, but serious incidents are still rare, and safety precautions thankfully make days like these rarer still.